What's up YouTube, this is Chris B, otherwise known as Bystander X79, and I'm coming to you with today's video deck profile on my Pendulum Spiral Dinosaur deck. Alright, now this deck focuses in on a Pendulum Dinosaur variant of the Phantasm Spiral Dragon deck. This deck has a lot of great plays in it. And I can tell you right now, I've had a ton of fun playing this deck. Alright, it can surprise a lot of players because they're not really expecting it. It's got a lot of cool, neat tricks just with the typing, the attributes, and the fact it can dump a lot of monsters on the field. So I'm not going to waste any more time. I'm going to get right into this because this deck is hell fun to play. Alright, first and foremost, I run one copy of the Phantasm Spiral Dragon in this deck. To be very honest, I've played this card. At 2 for a while. It kind of gets coggy in the hand, with the fact that this card can be tutored out of the deck, can't, or graveyard just with the effects of the Spiral equip spells. One copy is all you really need. It is a level 8 Water Attribute, Worm type monster, 2900 attack, 2900 defense, which makes it pretty beefy. Add in the equip spells, or maybe the boost from other Water Attribute boosters, and it gets a lot beefier. Okay, up next, part of the Dinosaur regiment that I have in this deck, 3 copies of Megalo Smasher X. Alright, it's a great dinosaur monster, level 4 Water Attribute, with 2000 attack, no defense, so you're going to be keeping it in attack mode, but it's a very awesome monster to have in this deck. Opens up a heck of a lot of plays, just for its typing and its attribute alone. Alright, moving on. Now we're going to get into the Pendulum aspect of this deck. I run a bit of a... I actually run the Draconia Pendulum Engine, as I call it, and we start off with 3 copies of Dragoons of Draconia. Now, Dragoons of Draconia is a Beast Warrior Pendulum monster. It's a normal type monster, so it doesn't have any monster effects, but it does have a cool Pendulum effect. Whenever one of your normal type monsters destroys one of your opponents by battle, you can then search your deck for one level 4 or higher normal monster. So it's pretty sweet. It's actually a pop-up. It's basically attack a monster, take it off the field, and you get a monster back into your hand. Adds consistency and speed to the deck, thins out the deck pretty quickly. Now, another card I have here is the Sea Dragoons of Draconia. Sea Serpent, level 3 Water Attribute. Its scale is scale 7. Dragoons is scale 2, so that's the pairing. I run 2 of them. Its Pendulum effect is alright. I mean, basically whenever one of your normal monsters is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can actually special summon one out from your hand. So it's effectively replacing the monsters you have lost on the field. So it keeps your field presence pretty solid. And of course, I run 3 copies of Sky Dragoons of Draconia. Now, I like this guy at 3 rather than Sea Dragoons, primarily because it's a winged beast monster. However, cool thing about it is that whenever one of your normal type monsters inflict battle damage to your opponent, you can actually target one card on your opponent's field and pop it. So in fact, with this card on the field, you can actually turn around and add a whole lot more pressure onto your opponent by taking more cards off the field with them. It also helps clear your opponent's field out a little bit more, so you can actually get a few more free swings in, which I think is actually pretty cool here. Alright, so with that being said, that's the normal type monsters. I have one effect monster. I have Rescue Rabbit. Now, Rescue Rabbit can start up a lot of plays since there are the majority of monsters in this deck are normal type monsters. The thing about it is that with the Dragoons, you're actually adding cards from your deck to your hand and summoning them pretty quickly. So you're not going to be needing to see this guy that much, but he's in here just to help get things started if you do happen to break. Okay, of course the deck is designed not to, because there's a whole lot of power in here. And speaking of which, you have 2 copies of Fire aforementioned Tenki. This searches out your Beast Warrior attribute monsters, which is your Dragoons. If you put the Dragoons onto the field against an extra 100 attacks, but typically you're going to want to be keeping them more on in your scales. Okay, next thing I run 3 copies of Fossil Dig. Fossil Dig searches out your Dinosaur monsters. You definitely want to see Megalo Smasher in your hand, because it is technically the strongest monster in your level 4 monster in your deck. So you want to be able to search them out very quickly. All right, now comes the very interesting part here, and this is the card that a lot of players hate to see me play. 3 copies of Heatwave. Now, what is Heatwave? Heatwave is basically the hot version of the card that's in the ban list called Cold Wave. Now, Cold Wave, whenever you activate it, you cannot activate or set any spells or traps. Heat Wave, on the other hand, handles monsters. Basically, you have to activate this at the beginning of your main phase 1, and then neither player can normal or special summon effect monsters until your next draw phase. So effectively, drop this. If you go first and you have this card in your hand, drop this at the beginning of your main phase 1. Your opponent ain't summoning nothing. This is the one card that actually catches a whole lot of players off guard. It shuts down their turn. They can't do anything to really establish a field. They can search all they want. They can try to try to pray that they can draw into maybe a board wipe, but outside of that, they're not summoning anything. Alright, of course we have Monster Reborn. This deck does use the extra deck, can extend into the extra deck, and it can actually give you some awesome plays with it, and helps you re-bring back monsters, steal a monster from your opponent's graveyard, just to keep going. Alright, next card. It's the field spell, Pacifist of the Phantasm City. Alright, now, few things. Pacifist counts as Yumi on this field, while it's not placed up on the field. Basically, whenever you normal or special summon a normal type monster, you get to search your deck for another spiral card to add to your hand, which is going to be pretty much the equip spells you'll be searching out. The last thing this card does is that whenever your opponent activates an effect and you control no tokens, you can actually special summon a token monster, level 8, 2000 attack, water tribute, 2000 attack, 2000 defense, I think it's also worm type, to the field. And it's that token is also classified as a normal monster as well. Alright, so this card adds a whole lot of different plays to the field and helps you build up your board and fill it with monsters. With the way the current format has evolved with the inclusion of links, getting monsters onto the field quickly, just the link summon is pretty important, and this card actually helps out tutor out your link monsters with that token. Alright, so the first equip spell is I want one copy of Phantasmal Spiral Class. Basically what this does is that it actually allows any normal type monster that is equipped to inflict piercing damage. Okay, which is pretty good if your opponent likes to throw things in defense mode. Thing about it is that after the equipped monster battles your opponent's monster, you're allowed to special summon one Phantasm Spiral Serpent to your field and equip this equip spell to that monster, and then you can then switch one of your opponent's monsters into defense mode, effectively allowing you to inflict more piercing damage. Pretty good, but if your opponent has a field link of monsters, not that much, which is the primary reason why we do put it at 1. The other equip spell that I run is 2 copies of Phantasm Spiral Grip. Spiral Grip is pretty cool because it actually beefs up your monsters by 500 attack points. Whenever it battles your opponent's monsters, yeah. Special summon the Phantasmal Spiral Dragon from your hand, deck, or graveyard. Equip this spell to that monster, and then you hit your opponent with extra 1,000 points of damage. Not only that, but during the battle phase, you're also going to be swinging with the Spiral, so you're going to be doing some serious damage with this card. Alright, that's the reason why we run this guy at 2, because you want to. This is the one you want to see a little bit more. It inflicts damage when it switches, and allows you to inflict more damage. Alright. Now we have 3 copies of Pot of Duality right here. It does prevent special summons during your turn. Can be a bit of a drawback, but the fact is, sometimes you need to dig into your deck 3 cards just to get to what you need. So, sacrifice a special summon just to turn on and get out a normal summon. Great. Okay. Of course, we run the board wipe, Raigeki. Who doesn't like a board wipe? We run 1 copy of Soul Charge because getting more monsters onto the field to turn around and build up other extra deck plays. Very important. Soul Charge does that. Alright, I run 3, count them, 3 copies of Terraforming because you want to see your field spell. So it's either you want to see your field spell in your opening hand or you want to see this card to get to your field spell. Alright. Pacifist is extremely important to this deck's overall strategy. And then, of course, you have 1 copy of Upstart. Give your opponent 1,000 life points, draw a card. The extra card really is... The extra life points to your opponent really isn't going to turn around matter much at all because you're going to be taking it anyway. Alright, last but not least, I run 3 different traps here. Actually, I run 3 traps in the deck. 2 copies of Solemn Strike, basically because of Solemn Strike, inherited summons are still a thing in Black Links, Pendulums, and monster effects, so you're going to need this card in your deck. And last but not least, 1 copy of Tyrant's Throws. I can't tell you how good this card is. If you can activate this card and your opponent doesn't have a response and it resolves, you're pretty much going to have control of the duel and win the game with this card as face up. Basically, what it does, you tribute 2 normal type monsters, except tokens. Kind of clear there. And neither player can normal or special summon effect monsters. It shuts down that aspect of the duel. So as long as you can take out your opponent's monsters, you're going to be and this card's face up, you're going to be giving them hard times. Alright, that's it for the main deck. On to the extra deck. Now, I said this was a Dinosaur variant, and of course, with Dinosaur decks, you gotta turn around and run the Volzar suites, which is basically I run 2 copies of Volzar Doka and 1 copy of Volzar Logia. Logia is basically a walking Solemn Judgment. It takes both its materials to activate the effect, and it's basically the same negations as Solemn Judgment, just without the life points. Stops a normal summon or special summon. It stops a spell's activation or a trap activation. So that's why we only run it on 1, because it takes up so much. It uses both materials. Doka, on the other hand, is a little bit better. It only uses 1 material to activate its effect, and basically it negates the one of your opponent's monster's effects when it activates, and then destroys that monster. Alright, of course, this is Water Attribute deck, and I run the Bahamut Shark Totally Awesome suite. Shark can bring out totally awesome negate stuff, adding an extra layer of protection onto the board. And it can even steal the stuff in the gates, so, and recycle it back to the deck, so you can use Shark again. And once Shark is empty, you can link summon it off for another Link monster. Alright, of course, Water Attribute deck, you gotta have Abyss Dweller, boosts other Water Attribute monsters, stops graveyard effects. It's a very useful tool card in this deck. Alright, I do, since the majority of the monsters here that I like to run are level 4, I run the Utopia suite. Number 39 Utopia and number S39 Utopia the Lightning, just to help to swing per game when needed. Also have number 41, Babushka, the terribly tired Tapir. Basically, he's there for stalling, and just pure annoyance factor. I also run Tornado Dragon to help pop aggro. And I also run number F-Zero Utopic Future, primarily because that the deck does run a lot of rank 4s. Anytime you have a deck that runs multiples of the same rank, this card should be in your extra deck. Basically because you can take 2 non-number Xyz monsters with the same ranks. Remember that they can't be number monsters. Overlay them, put this guy on top, and basically you don't take any damage from battle, so you can actually crack this guy into big monsters without fear of losing life points. And it steals your opponent, and it actually steals your opponent's monster until the end of the battle phase. You can actually swing with it then, which allows you to turn around and really put pressure on your opponent by crashing this guy into a big monster first, take their biggest monster off the field, and then letting it swing over your opponent's other monsters. I mean, how good is that? Alright. Of course, for Lynx, one Mistar Boy because it is a Water Attribute, boosts other Water Attribute monsters by 500 attack. You get a Water Attribute back from your graveyard when it ever gets popped, so great utility in there. I run Pendulum monsters in there, which means there's a very good chance that the Pendulum monsters will be on the field, which means you gotta be running 2 copies of Heavy Metal Foes Electromite. This card just does way so much for any deck that runs a Pendulum engine in it. Basically, you get this Pendulum monster into your extra deck whenever you summon this guy out. Pop a scale, or pop a card, you can draw a card. Pop a scale, you draw a card. Recycle back, get back one of your Pendulum monsters from your extra deck to your hand. I mean, it just opens up so many things and helps you set up your hand for control. And of course, I run Sarusha Scoldred. Exactly same reasons for some of the. This guy can boost to anything it points to. You get an extra normal summon, which well, not extra normal summon. You get extra special summon, and if you per turn, which is actually very helpful. And then if you use 4 materials to bring this guy out, you draw 4, take the 3, and stack your deck bottom of the deck with that 3. Okay. So that is it for my Pendulum, Spiral, Dinosaur deck profile. Alright. I can tell you right now, with the fact that we're on banlist watch, it's a great time to start playing road decks just to surprise people, to see how things can test out against other established big meta decks. So please, if you like the deck, thumbs up. If you want to see more content of this on my channel, hit that subscribe button. Ring the notification bell to become part of the notification squad to know when I throw up new videos. Alright? And of course, you have the comment section down below. Leave me comments about what you think about the deck, what you think could be added to it, what can be taken out. I love to hear you guys' opinions. I actually do interact with everybody who comments on my videos. If you don't believe me, please check my other videos out. So until next time, guys, I'll be seeing you guys later. Peace out, everybody.